We're back. This is not JK, Jesse and Kurt. More so the casual pod, as we like to call it. You know what I'm saying? We're not going crazy with the production. We're not over here spending thousands on marketing like you others do.
Just kicking it.
Yeah, bro. Just chilling, chopping it up with a homie. You know what I'm saying? Technology lets us come together. So, Kurt, what up, bro?
I think all in between the mic, the ring light, and this shitty laptop I got, we're under $200 in, and
Yeah.
I look great. Just
Yeah.
saying.
You know what I'm saying? You sound great, too. And that's what it's about. You know what I'm saying?
Do what I can. Healthy in 2024 so far, so can't complain.
Yeah, that's a step up, man. Not a lot of people even survive 2020, 2024. So,
Right. Shit's wild out there, man.
I'm saying, bro, it's January. Officially, the holidays do end on my birthday, which is January 20th. So, if y'all still got your Christmas trees up and shit, it's fine. Just know after my birthday, it's got to go.
Speak for yourself, man. My apparently my sister had a mix of 2 or 3 trees this year. And I talked to her the other day, just catching up with her. We're gonna plan like a retirement party for my old man, and she's like, "Yeah, I took down most of my Christmas trees." I go, "Most of them? Like, it's middle of January. Like,
Yeah, and
Jesus, no."
how do you have more than one tree, bro? How do you?
So, well, I mean, I know my grandmother like years ago, but she's older now, but she would have a real tree and then she'd have a fake one, and because she liked the contrast. My old man only gets a real tree. He's like, I don't care until the day I die. I want a real tree. And he goes, if I can't put it up, your ass is coming up and putting it back for me, or your sister is. I'm like, all right. So he's able and willing now, but maybe about 10, 20 years, I might have to be doing some weird maintenance because my dad likes the smell of pine trees. But,
Yeah, I mean, Jews out here winning, bro. We just have a menorah. We light, the candles put themselves away once they melt. So it's a
actually,
beautiful
as
thing.
I was explaining this tree fiasco, I was like, wait, no, Jesse's Jewish. He's got it mad easy. He can fucking put a menorah in the closet and then, go get some new candles and boom, you're good for 8 days. Throw that shit back in the closet.
See ya, bro. I will say, man, Christmas time, it's like a little backwards. It's like the trees are, y'all put the trees inside the house. You know what I'm saying? The lights on the
Right,
outside the house. I'm like, y'all got to, where I'm from, trees go outside, lights go inside, but
right,
whoever, you know what I'm
right.
saying? Not going to knock y'all.
Well, like
But,
a lot of people are
yeah.
like, oh, I like the Christmas lights year round. Like, okay, I get that. That's like kind of an ambiance. Like, that's a vibe. But like the whole tree, or like you keeping your nativity scene up until March. Like, yo, Easter's like next week. You still got your Christmas shit out. Like, I don't
Yeah.
know.
It goes both ways. There's people that rock Christmas on Halloween, and it's kind of like, yo, you're doing too much already. But whatever,
Yeah,
bro. Main point is let it rock until my birthday, and then get that shit out of here, bro.
get it out of here.
You know what
Done.
I'm saying? Fuck out of here, bro. I want Christmas to be treated like Jewish people. Get them
Okay.
out of here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Get get
Jesus.
get
You're the
Christmas.
guy with the sign.
Yeah, hey, come on.
That's
But
funny.
nah, well, that's cool, dude. Shouts to your sister. Hopefully, it's an effort. She'll take one tree down, and then it'll be, no pun
Nah, I,
intended, a
I
snowball
think
effect.
she's close. I think she's close, especially after a little nudge. I got a little sass back, but that's my
Yeah,
little sister, so
shouts to that, bro. Um, yeah, nah, man. Sports, dude. Jumped right to it. We're in that weird pocket, you know what I'm saying? Football is winding down. College football is over. NFL in the playoffs. Not if you're a Giants fan, so the season's been over. Um,
Yeah,
Hockey is kind of in its whatever spot. It's kind of far away from the playoffs, so it's kind of like, who cares? I don't want to say who cares, but I'm just like, if you lose a game, it's kind of whatever. They play a lot.
right.
Basketball, same deal, bro. They've been dry, so they had to do their own makeshift
It's still
tournament.
better in the summer, though. It's still better in the summer. Like summer, it's like you either have to be diehard baseball fan or like you're hurting. I do all right because I'm a lacrosse fan, and the that professional league's starting to kind of get a little more popular. But Yeah, it's a little rough now. Like if you're not into football, I was actually talking about this with a buddy the other day. He's like, he's big into the FanDuel and the DraftKings, and I partake, but not like that. He goes, man, I can't get into watching any of these regular season basketball or hockey games. Like gambling doesn't even make it worthwhile for me. I'm like, damn. Like if you get action
Yeah.
on the game and it,
He's real dude. He's real bad.
they got that. What was it? The in-season tournament for basketball. Like they're
Yeah, they
trying to
called
make it
it the NBA
like
Cup.
soccer or something.
I'm like, bro, come on. No, I mean gambling, dude. I have a lot of homies that've been gambling. Hey, I'm not. I don't. I don't. What is that called? Kink shaming. I don't vice shame. You know what I'm saying? So,
No
so
voice shaming.
do what you do, bro. Personally, I think I have a good mental, like component to gambling. I feel like people get down bad when they start gambling money they don't have, right? Their rent,
Yeah.
their car and shit. I feel like you should make a certain amount of money before you start gambling. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, and I think these apps now that it's legal is a little bit better because like there's no commitment. You're not like doing shady stuff with a bookie. Your uncle's cousin isn't running numbers to some wop on the block in Brooklyn or something like that. um, you, you can put in or as much or as little as you want. I got hooked with I stayed away from it because I love sports and I like enjoying the game. And sometimes the gambling takes away from it a little bit. Like even if it was a good ass game, if you lost $20 on it, you're like man, like that's fucked. But yeah, I don't bet too much, and you could win a lot of money off of small bets. Like they got like the profit boost, they got all this shit that
Yeah, the
if you
parlays and
want to
stuff.
passively do it. But yeah, just like any other gambling, you got these dudes that are betting half their rent on the Browns to cover 2.5 against like the Patriots or whatever, and then like they're walking around all angry. I'm like, yo, you good? And they're like, nah, man, like I can't pay rent now. I'm like, what the fuck you mean? Like
That's on you, but
that's
that's
on
on you,
you, bro.
baby.
That's on
Yeah,
you.
bro. Also, we talk about the older we get, athletes, they're just humans, right? They're just other men at their jobs. Like, think about gambling, right? You're putting out money for the chance of it being, returned with more, and if
Right.
not, it's gone. Would you do that? Would you gamble in real life? Would you say, "Yo, I'm gonna give you money to go to the grocery store for me," and the guy
Or
says,
maybe not that.
I may
Maybe
come
not
back,
mundane.
I
Maybe
may
not
not."
mundane shit like that. But I'm in sales. I don't know if you are still or not. But like, if I knew in the background that like LeBron or like Aaron Rodgers had 20 grand on if I close a deal this week or over under 2 deals closed this week, like yeah, that should be wild as fuck. Like,
Yeah, but I'm
and then I
saying,
don't. And then I don't close something. LeBron's tweeting me like, "Yo, bro, you're a bum at your job." Like,
you should have been transferred
all
after
that
you.
shit.
Yo, your year-end review's coming up. I hope they fucking can you.
Yo,
Yeah, I feel you on that, but I'm saying like, just they gamble. Like, I got homies hitting me up. Okay, full spill. I do hate the people think because I work in broadcasting or any type of correlation with sports or I hang out with athletes that I have some sort of insider trading.
inside track.
I'm like, bro, I don't know. I don't gamble, right? So motherfuckers hit me up. Yeah, yo, you think I should put XYZ on this? I'm like, bro, hey, do you think I'm flattered, but I don't got the answer. Because guess what? If I'm wrong, guess who you're coming for?
Right, right.
You know what I'm saying? So with that, there's like, I got homies that'll show me like, yo, I got this parlay. Like, I know you fuck with hockey. Like, you think I could do blah blah blah? And I'm like, bro, it's $5. Like, you're good. But then they'll hit me up like 20 times, and I'm like, all right, dude, 20 times 5 is a regular bet now. It's not
Right,
no, I'm just doing
right.
$5. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I remember before it was like years ago. I want to say I was maybe right out of college, and me and my two buddies didn't bet, but his brother did. His brother just loved betting, loved poker, loved blackjack, like going to the casino. He had a bookie, had all of that shit. But he didn't necessarily pay attention to sports like me and my two buddies did. You know, like me and my two buddies are kind of exactly like what I do with you. We're chopping it up about every sport. We're playing every video game. You know, we're in multiple fantasy leagues. Like that's our shit. You know, we pay
Right.
attention to sports. So this kid's brother would come to us like before his bets, and like, well, you guys know what you're talking about. And it got to a point where we were like, yo, if you start hitting some of this, you gotta start giving us money. Like, you wouldn't know what to do if like we didn't give you this like kind of thought process or what, you know, like if I was doing it, I just didn't want to put the money on it. And so it got to one where he had this like kind of monster parlay or whatever, and he goes, what do you think about this? And it wasn't like a huge bet monetary wise, but like, again, there was enough legs on it, he would have won some serious cash. And like, me and my buddies were like, dude, I don't know if I'd go with that. Like, I don't trust that game. I go, I'd take a leg or two out. And like, my other buddies were like, yeah, dude, take a leg out. And then I guess he didn't listen to us and he just put it in anyway. And then he was bitching when he didn't hit it, and he was bitching to us, and we are like, nah, like, I don't want to hear it, dude. Like, we told you to stay away from that shit. Like,
And I didn't. I'm not the guy playing the sport. So
yeah,
what the fuck are you
I'm not playing the sport, and I'm not gambling my money. So, like, I'm sorry, I don't really feel that bad for you. Like,
The reverse. And I come to the homies' aid. I know homies that know that other homies don't mess with sports like that, so they've got
yeah.
taken advantage of. Like my brother, or like so they've like come to me and be like, "Yo, this dude wants to do this bet with me. Should I take it?" And I'll look at it. And I'm like, "Bro, this person, lose that person's number." It'll be like, to give an example, like, you know, I'm talking mid 2000 Browns, like when they were terrible Browns. It'd be like, yo, he wants me to place like $200 if the Browns win by 30. I'm like, who is this person? They know you're licked, son. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just like, it's both ways. I have people come to me for like, yo, I could make $1 million. You think it'll hit? I'm like, bro, no. And then I have some people that could lose $1 million, and I'm like, bro, don't text that person back.
Like, and you see some of these celebrities, like, I think I like Drake's music. I think he's just like the corniest dude.
Oh yeah.
Like, he's putting these bet slips that he's putting like $1,000 or like $200,000 on like these random ass bets or these fights. I'm like, bro, like, now you're flexing out here for the culture, and like now everyone thinks they could be a baller like Drake and throw money at it. Like, that's just irresponsible, bro.
Yeah,
Like,
and if you extrapolate what he makes to what he puts down, it's no different than a $5 bet turning to a $10
which
bet.
upsets me a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, it upsets me tremendously, but that's
Oh, $200K for this bet? Yeah, fuck it.
yeah. But they're like, it's, you know, that's also the issue, is this idea that like, yo, people with millions of dollars are doing it. How come my broke ass can't do it? It's like, you just said it. You just said it.
Keyword broke.
Yeah. He also took his private jet to wherever he's gambling. Do you want to do that?
That came up last week with me and my boys too. Like, what was it, the Carolina owner, David Tepper, and they were saying how like, oh, he threw that drink on that person, and you know, obviously you can't just be doing that. That's kind of some wild shit. But they fined him $300,000, and everyone's like, well, that's too little. It's like, well, you can't charge him the amount that would make it hurt for him financially. And what, are you going to go hurt the team because the owner threw a drink? Like, what, are you going to take a draft pick, which they don't have, by the way? And it's just, and then I was thinking, like, dude, we're really talking about a dude that's wiping his ass with $300,000. Like, put it professionally. If I sold any company for that amount of money, my whole year is made. You know what I mean? Like, the commission I'm making on it puts me ahead. My attainment at work, I'm ahead. You know, like, $300,000 is a lot of money, and that dude's just wiping his ass like it's a 20. Like, that's fucking wild to me.
Also, did the guy that got the drink poured on him, like, did anything happen to him, or is it just a cool story?
No, I think, you know, I listen to Pat McAfee a bunch, and like, him and his boys were, you know, joking around like, oh, you know, the ice hit him in the right side of the eye, and now he's blind, and they're still in the intensive care unit. And I'm dying because it's like, yeah, like, nothing really happened to that guy.
Also,
You know what I mean? Like, that dude was probably running his mouth. He was probably popping his head in the box. And like Tepper's like, nah, fuck you. Like,
And bro, I talked about this. Shouts to the I Don't Know show, man. I talked about this moons ago about how like I love sports and everything, and we grew up in the '90s where I feel like the real sports debates were just like, hey, my team versus your team, this player versus that player. Now with social media, and I sound like an old head, the insane access we have to like, oh, the coaching staff, and we know like the personnel on the team and shit. Like, what kind of beef does this guy have with the owner? You know, like talk to the players or something. But like, how'd you know that that guy with the suit and tie is the owner where there's 9,000 other suit and tie guys in that? Like that shit crazes me. And then I'm also like, the older I get, I'm also not afraid of. I don't shy away from like consequences, right? So when somebody tells me, if you're like, yo, my boy got punched in the face, old JB would have been like, that's fucked up. Like, you want to ride? You want to ride for him? New JB would be like, did he say some shit that would get you punched in the face? Like, you know what I'm saying? So like, when the guy threw the drink on the man, that's fucked up, yes, but also chances are he did some shit to cause this guy to want to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, is accountability just one-sided these days?
also the whole scenario just doesn't make sense to me because it was Tepper to a Jags fan. Like, okay, yeah, you're the visiting team and you're the owner, but it's like, all right, the Jags and the Panthers aren't necessarily in the same division. They're not even in the same conference. That was just like a random outlier game. And if anyone should be talking shit to David Tepper, it's actual Panthers fans. You know, with all these fired coaches and bad draft picks and, you know, him doing all this shit in the media, it's like, if anyone should be trying to get into his box to tell him a piece of their mind, it's the guy that keeps spending money on his team for a shit product. You know, that's the person who should be yelling at him, not some random dude that happened to buy a seat close to a box.
Or it could have been an animal activist that was arguing who would win, a panther versus an actual jaguar.
Or a jaguar.
You know, which I think the panther maybe. I don't know.
Panthers are a little bigger.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like, so I got a cat, and I think I got into the big cat algorithms on like my social medias, and I don't know, man. Jaguars are fucking cool.
Yeah.
Like, if it wouldn't rip my face off, I'd get one.
Dude, that's how I feel. Like, you know, I'm dog gang left and right, but when it comes to like felines versus canines, like it stops at dog. Like, there's really no cool thing after a dog. I mean, maybe a wolf, but like cats, they got it. Y'all got the panthers, y'all got the tigers, you got lions. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got the puma. That shit's cool. You know what I'm saying? Like all that. So yeah, but the house cat. You know, it's cool. It's whatever.
He's trying to get in the shot right now, but I'm like, yo, chill.
What's his name? His name's Charlie? Or what's his name?
Larry. Larry. I got him for free out of like a copier deal like 4 or 5 years ago.
That's pretty cool.
Again, I've always had dogs growing up, and you know, we used to house sit some people with cats, and that kind of set me off on the wrong path with them because my neighbor had just asshole cats. Like, any negative you would say about a cat, these cats were that. Damn. So growing up, I hated cats, and we always had dogs, and I never thought, you know, like that. But then I had a roommate that had a cat. I had a buddy in college that had kind of a cool cat that would, you know, screw with the lasers and stuff. I think his name was Marley. Yeah, it was Marley because big stoner dude named the cat after Bob Marley.
So original.
And then I kind of backed into this, and I don't know, man. I like this cat more than I like people right now.
Thanks, bro. I mean, y'all know the story of how I fell into my dog, man. He found me. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of the same, dude. I grew up with cats too. I had 3 cats growing up. Dude, my mom's from Queens, New York, right? And my grandma, I never got to meet her. She passed when my mom was young, but apparently she was the crazy cat lady on the block. And my mom grew up no cat with 21 cats, bro.
Jesus.
But they weren't all indoor. They were all like majority
cap on the cats?
Yeah, no cat, bro.
No cap on the cats.
You know what I'm saying? it was no cat in the cap, you know what I'm saying? No, they had like 20 cats. No, like 3 of them were indoor, but the rest were just like, she could just rock. They'd come home at some point in the day or sleep in the backyard or some shit. And I remember being like, growing up, and be like, we're gonna have 21 too.
Your mom had as many cats as college sports has cat mascots.
Wildcats. Which, hey, you know what? Fuck U of A. Tangent. ASU diehard over here. Can you admit at least that their slogan "Bear Down" makes no sense? Because if they're the Wildcats, then
Wait, though this is news to me. The University of Arizona Wildcats
yes,
tagline is "Bear Down."
yes. And my argument
It's
is
trash.
there's 30 other Wildcat teams. So University of Kansas State, bear down. You know what I'm saying? Like, where does it end? They'll tell you, which is trash. It's a horrible story, that there was a guy in the military that went to the U of A, and his dying. I was like, this is such a bullshit story. His dying wish was that the University of Arizona students will bear down or some shit. I was like, that's such a bullshit lie, bro. So
Yeah, that's got holes in it.
yeah, no,
Again,
trash.
Hearing that, I mean, the university might have been around longer than the Chicago Bears. But I mean, I live here in Chicago, so Bear Down is the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, makes perfect sense, bro.
Makes a ton of sense.
Yes.
Wordplay, all of it.
Or Cincinnati Bear Cats, that could be bear down. You know what I'm saying?
At least with that, there's the Bear Cat.
Yeah,
Arizona's the Wildcats.
Yeah, dude, it's trash. And then they're the ones that, ASU, you dumb. I'm like, nah. Like, tell me another school with the Sun Devil. At least we're original. You know what I'm saying? So.
And isn't Arizona State technically the better school scholastically as well?
As of recent, yeah, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's why.
And sports.
Yeah.
I mean,
except for football, they got football recently. But, I mean, shit, ASU football's in shambles. You know what I'm saying?
What's the last guy from the University of Arizona football that was good? Nick Foles?
Nah, this year they beat Oklahoma.
No, I'm saying pro-wise.
Yeah, Nick Foles,
who comes out of U of A?
Oh yeah, nah. If it's NFLU, yeah, ASU is NBAU and
guys,
NFLU.
I mean, I don't know if your guys go anywhere, but they at least get there.
Yeah. Hey, I mean, James Harden, he ain't the same, but we know what Baby J.
I'm sick of him. I'm so sick of him.
Yeah, so am I. But hey, we loved him when he was Baby J. And a cool story, real quick.
He's still your boy.
And you'll appreciate this fully, bro. Like, he's actually not Hollywood. As weird as he is and gives the Kanye vibes and shit. There was a time he came out. This was right when he got his contract extension. Or no, right when he signed to Houston. He came out to one of our big bars on Mill Avenue. And he had a tray of drinks, literally holding them. And he bought out the whole bar. And he was dapping dudes up. And then when I came up to him, I was like, yo, Baby J, what up? We used to call him that because he had a note before the beard.
No beard.
Yeah. So
dude, those pictures of him without the beard are fucking wild.
I know, dude.
It's a different person.
It's a whole different. It's before he became a rabbi. But nah. So he was like, buying everyone shots and make sure everyone had the drinks, dapping people up. And it was just cool to see, it wasn't he wasn't doing it for publicity. He was, genuinely wanting everyone to have a good time. And, my boy Rami was with me, and he was, geeking out, and he was just like, oh, yo, James, what up, bro? And Harden was just, fixed on, yo, get a drink. I need your man to make sure he drinks. So I was like, all right. So that was my cool experience. So, I'm going to take that to the grave with me.
Oh, yeah, that was what was cool about going to college. And I initially started at West Virginia. That didn't work out. And then I went to Buff State. But both of them, kind of had that feel of wherever the kids would go, the athletes would go. At least West Virginia, all right, they're students too. But the amount of stories I have of, partying or hanging out with Buffalo Bills or the Buffalo Sabres. If you really think about it, again, to your point, they're people. And technically they're people that are college age stuff. Buffalo's a cool time. I love the city. I just hate the Bills. But if those guys are trying to go out on their off time and blow some money, where are they going to go? They're going to go try to hit on the girls that are in my class. You know, like that's what they want to do. Like, and one of my friends, she was notorious for like attracting athletes. Like, I couldn't tell you how many times like she was like, "Yo, like who is that? Like, why is he just kind of looking at me?" I'm like, "You know that guy plays center for the Sabres, right?" And she goes, "Oh," and then I don't know if you remember Sean Merriman, the linebacker.
Yeah.
Like a really big dude. He sent like a guy over, like, "Oh, yo, like Sean's really interested in you," and she's like, "Who's Sean?" I'm like, "Oh," me and my buddy are just sitting there like, "Oh no, like you don't get what's going on." Like, so she went over there and she came back and she's like, "Man, this is weird as shit." And like you said, at least James Harden was cool. I met Ryan Miller, the goalie, and he was really chill. You know, I think it goes both ways. Like,
I've had I've had friends act a little too like they've kind of made it too weird. I've had a talk about the Bears. You remember the receiver? I think he came from West Virginia too, Kevin White.
Yep.
Yeah. He was at a bar in Scottsdale, and my boy was like getting too like geeked out, and he was like afraid that like he didn't want to make it hot, and I didn't know it was a celebrity. I didn't know who the fuck. I was just walking over to my friend, right? And my boy is like treating me like he was talking to a girl, and he didn't want to.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Yo, come on, get out." And I genuinely had no idea why. And he's like, "This is Kevin White," and I was like, "You just made it worse for yourself. Like you were the one
Right.
telling me don't make it hot, and now you're like geeking over it." And
Now
I was
you're
like,
making it hot.
and then I
You're
kind
making it hot,
of,
the
yeah,
hottest.
and then I was kind of like your girl in that scenario because I forgot who he was for a second, and I was like, oh, is that the? I was like, oh, yeah, and I said some shit like I was like. I fucked up his position. I was like, "Oh, is he like a cornerback or something?" And Kevin White was like, "Nah, receiver, bro." I was like, "Oh, my bad." I was like, "My
Yeah,
bad."
but he probably respected it though. Like he was like, "Oh, you probably don't like." Anytime I've met anyone that's of note, you know, I get it. Like I don't want to mob people like that. Like I'll be like, you're Kevin White." They'll be like, "Yeah, bro." I'll be like, "All right, cool." And, you know, I might shake their hand or whatever. And like half the time, especially the ones in Buffalo, like they liked it. Like you know, they'll sit there and kick it with you. Like if you're not weird about it, you're like, yeah, I know who you are.
Yeah.
And like you're not like geeking out about it. Like I mean, I'm sure there's a few I'd probably like if I met Tua or like Dan Marino. Actually, I've met Dan Marino, but actually that's a funny story. When I was back home, my cousin's a big Bills fan. Obviously, I'm a big Dolphins fan, and my cousin was always down to get like the Dolphins sideline tickets in Buffalo because they were cheaper. So we'd get 100 level seats like right on the 50-yard line. So it was like Christmas Eve. Oh, shit, I couldn't tell you what year it was, but it was Christmas Eve. The Dolphins were playing the Bills. My seat was row 6, seat 1. Like, right on it. And so, like, I don't know if you know, Dan Marino and Jim Kelly are actually pretty good friends. I think both their kids have, they're both pretty autistic or whatever, so they both have, like, a joint charity or one throws to their charity or whatever. So they did, like, a joint thing before the game. And Dan's coming right up the thing. And I did geek out a little bit. I'm like, oh shit, that's Dan Marino. He's like right there. Like, obviously, like that's the biggest thing to me. And so I was like, I'm gonna try to get a high five from him. So like he's coming at me. I'm like, oh man, Dan the man, what's up? And he goes, Merry Christmas, brother, and then just walked right by. And so like again, him saying Merry Christmas to me was like the coolest thing, you know. Again, my whole story of being from Western New York and liking the Dolphins is I grew up watching Dan Marino with my dad. So like him saying Merry Christmas to me was like the coolest thing, and like everyone was like, "But you wanted a high five. He didn't want to touch you." I'm like, "I don't give a shit." He at least acknowledged me. Like,
you're like the fucked up part was it wasn't even around Christmas.
Well, it was Christmas Eve.
I know.
The game wasn't. But yeah, like the whole section was giving me shit. Like, bro, like you didn't get anything of what you wanted out of that. I'm like, fuck you mean? Like,
Dude,
arguably one of the top 5, if not higher, quarterbacks all time told me Merry Christmas. I don't care if he was avoiding touching me physically. Like,
you're like, did he say Merry Christmas to you guys? I don't think
yeah,
so.
right. Like nobody else got a Merry Christmas in that section. I did.
Yes, sound like y'all some motherfucking haters, all right?
Right.
My boy, my cousin actually, I went to his wedding in Colorado. He's best friends with pitcher for. It's kind of crazy. Pitcher, he was on the Braves. He's on the Giants now. Luke Jackson. He's a closer.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of loosely know the name.
Yeah, it was dope, man. He beat the fucking Astros and everything, and baseball is my favorite sport. And I knew he was boys with him already, so I knew he was gonna be at the wedding and stuff. So I was like, nah, I'm not gonna geek out. He's just a dude. He's my cousin's friend. Like, who gives a fuck? He just throws a baseball fast, And as the night went on, I kept drinking and stuff, and me and him became cooler, and we were just talking shit. And I kept playing it dumb, like, oh, he's just my, yeah. I just kept playing it dumb, like, oh, he's my cousin's friend. Like, I don't know this guy, but I knew who he was the entire time. I wanted to talk baseball the whole time, but I just left it alone.
I feel like at that point, like when you're both in the like, especially like a wedding reception like that, you could slip it in. Like, pause, but
yeah, yeah.
you'd be like, all right, man, like jigs up. I know who you are. Like, I kind of want to talk ball with you. Like,
dude,
at that point, he's feeling it. Like, you're not being weird. Like,
that's what happened.
To fanboy a little bit, but just don't make it weird.
I tried, man. I texted him.
Applies to all scenarios in life. You can do a little bit. Just don't make it weird.
Yeah, don't don't say anything weird, and don't be a dick. That's usually what it is. But no,
easy rules, man.
I tried. I texted my boy. I was like, "Yo, I'm at this wedding with Luke Jackson." He's like, "Oh, bro, you should get a pic." So then I was like, "All right." And then like that kind of fueled me. And then I I went up to him and I was like, "Hey, bro." I was like, "Yeah, like I kind of know who you are, bro." Blah blah blah. And he was laughing. And then I felt cringy because I was like, "You think we can get a pic?" And like the way he like didn't say no, but it was just like, "Yeah, maybe later." I was like, I feel horrible. Yeah, I was like, nah. But then I was like, man. I couldn't leave with nothing. So I was like, hey, bro, I know you're a free agent. Like, can you tell me, like, if you're going to?
Maybe you do know something. You know something.
So then he was like, nah, I can't tell you, but I've been talking to Boston. I was like, I fucking hate this guy now.
No. You're like, nah, I don't want the pick. I don't want it no more.
Yeah, fuck you, man. So, nah, that's real, man. And that's what we were talking about next was like, as we get older, athletes, man, they're just people, dude. And sadly, people are lame. I think, as you said, you care about cats more than people. I care about dogs more than people. I don't want to give him no shine because he gets enough. But Aaron Rodgers, man, he's a fucking lame-o, dude. And I've been saying this. It's great. I love being vindicated. Like, I never liked him from a football standpoint just because I don't like the Packers. So it gave me a reason to just be like, nah, I don't like the quarterback. It's fair.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know this guy personally. But when these people put themselves out there, it's perfectly fine to take what they're giving you. Just like I put myself out on the internet, and I pride myself on my authenticity. I talk about shit I really care about. Dogs, podcasts, weed, politics. I'm never putting on an act. So if somebody were to assume I think I know JB, that's fine. I'd be like, yeah, that's a fair assessment. You don't know me personally, but you know the things where I stand on things, right?
Yeah.
And I can't stand motherfuckers that will put themselves out there and then tell us, no, you misunderstood me. It's like, bro, you provided the understanding.
Dude, he's weird for me because he's always been kind of like a different cat. You know what I mean? Like from the jump. But hell of a quarterback. I might pull for the Bears a bit now, but like I got no reason to dislike the Packers. I thought he was a great talent. I hate Tom Brady, and that's for obvious reasons. But I always thought he was kind of entertaining, Rodgers. Like, he had a weird, dry sense of humor, and I was like, oh, like, I get it. I can appreciate that sense of humor. I can appreciate kind of the way he is. And then when they started covering him more, and he switched one of his girlfriends or whatever, it seems like he went off the deep end a little bit. And I'm like, and to your point, I think you said this on a different one of your other pods or one of your other clips. Like, you're a guy that says he hates the media, yet you're taking $1 million from another guy to be on, be in the media once a week for a company that you claim to hate. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I know everyone's got their price, but is $1 million from Pat McAfee worth kind of your word? Like, you have a pretty fat contract with the Jets, and you got enough. You got a lot of money with State Farm. Like, I don't know. I'd say, like, if he was a regular guy to work with, I couldn't stand it. Like, he just got that award, like, most influential person on the team. Like, you ain't getting that award in the office with me. I ain't voting for you.
No,
like,
bro. I'm not even accepting your Slack or Teams invite. You know what I'm saying? Bro, like, my thing is a lot of the shit, with the anti-vax movement, all that stuff, like, people can there's layers, right? Like, I think not the opposites are not the extremes, right? So, or I guess extremes are not the opposites. So it's like I don't dislike somebody because they're anti-vax. I don't like when an anti-vax person then portrays vaxxers or people that get vaccinated as weaker individuals or unintelligent or like not or sheep. When he said, "Oh, I'm a free thinker and I do my own research," and all that little stupid shit is easily debunked because when he breaks his fucking leg because he's made of glass, does he run to his laptop and do his own research, or does he run to the fucking doctor's table and trust the doctors and the science and the technology?
well, it goes even deeper with him specifically. You were giving everyone crap about the science about a vaccine, but here you are 2-3 years later, you tear your Achilles or something with your Achilles, and you're running to some scientist or some doctor that's got something that's unproven to get you on the field in the same seat. Like, no one's ever done that. Like, and that was another thing about the coverage of it. I was like, it's a sham. There was no way he was playing this year. And honestly, as a football fan and someone who played sports, again, not to that level, but would you want to come back behind that offensive line? Like, just to prove that your science and your free thought? Like, I got in an argument, well, not an argument, a little sports discussion today about, the Dolphins' schedule next year. I want to go to a couple games or whatever, because there's a few kind of close to Chicago. And someone's like, "Oh man, like I don't know how many of those you guys are winning. Like Aaron Rodgers is coming back for the Jets." I'm like, I ain't worried about the Jets. You're telling me a 40-year-old quarterback coming off of a Achilles injury, in a poorly run team is something I should be worried about? There's a lot of other teams on that schedule. I'm like, we might lose that. Jets ain't one of them, bro. I don't care what anyone says.
And it's the worst field in the NFL. Like, this dude is setting himself up for just injury.
He got injury. Breece Hall did last year. Jalen Phillips for us got hurt.
Saquon Barkley, every Giants player. Are you kidding me? Sterling Shepard, Daniel Jones, every Giants player.
Or whoever else they play. Like,
bro, I think the marching band gets a torn ACL when they go on the fucking field, bro. Nah, I feel you on that, man. And then
you're like sprained her wrist doing a back handspring on a 20-yard line. Like,
bro, I think fucking even snowflakes break when they land on that field. But nah, right. I think yeah, dude, it's the inconsistency. And then the older I get, I'm trying to reduce, and I pride myself on it. I kind of reduce the idea of right and wrong. I'm more aligned with goals and approaches. Like, what's your goal and how do you go about it? You know what I'm saying? If his goal is to tell everybody that they're wrong for taking vaccines, then, like you said, go along and he does his magical drug that could fix an ACL in 8 months. Where's the consistency? You know what I'm saying? You're telling us, don't trust this new, vaccine, but I'm going to go trust this new miracle drug. Like, bro, be consistent. What's your goal? Yeah, that approach is trash. So then this continuation of this removal of
self-righteous.
Yeah, self-righteous, but just like this there's layers to it. Like, it's like, oh, you don't like him because it's like, no, man. If somebody's it's if I serve you a burger and you don't like it, you don't have to tell me you don't like it, but you could not like it. You know what I'm saying? I gave
Right.
it to you, and the stuff we're talking about is stuff that he gives to us. We're not going out of our way to find this information. That's the part that really upsets me. It's like if you put yourself out there, it's out there and it can be used. You know, so
And that's the worst thing about kind of social media. And I know we're technically doing a podcast right now, but like someone might check in to say this. "Oh, I want to see what Jesse and Kurt are doing. I generally find them, kind of interesting. And at this point, 40 minutes in, I say some weird shit. I'm going to think you want to hear that shit from me because you clicked the link in general. So it's like a lot of people are going to Pat McAfee or ESPN or a lot of these things for one reason or another. It's like, okay, yeah, Aaron Rodgers is a high profile person. That doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to like what you have to say. And that also doesn't mean I'm going to stop listening to Pat. Like there's a lot of things about his show that I like. But like, that's why I like the clips. That's what a lot of this is moving to. Because like, I'm a huge Rich Eisen fan. Like I think he's the best thing going in any sports media. I think he's like far and away like the most well-rounded. He like who he likes, but he doesn't shove it down your throat.
he's Jewish, gang gang.
Yeah, exactly. And he's from New York too. Actually,
Yeah.
I thought his coverage of college football, Michigan winning because he went there. I thought that was great. If you want to check that out, go to his page. And his reaction to Michigan winning, I thought was very heartfelt and very, very grounded. I thought it was pretty cool. But like, he clips out his show. Like he has a 3-hour block. You could get it in whatever way you want. But he puts up the 10 or 15 clips of the day, and I can consume it as I want.
Yeah.
And so, like, I don't watch the clips of Aaron Rodgers on Pat McAfee. I mean, I checked it out recently because I wanted to see what the hubbub was about with the Jimmy Kimmel shit. But, I haven't looked at those clips in, I want to say, months. Because I don't care to hear it,
Yeah.
So I'm glad that that's kind of where the space is going, where you're not going to get skewed numbers and people aren't going to think, people are viewing things that they don't necessarily want to. And you're like, oh, yeah, everyone wants to hear me spew this shit. Like,
Oh yeah, I mean that's the viewership is misleading. Like I was saying, I watch more Republican shit than I do Democratic, and it's by that logic, I'm a fan, right? I'm a viewer, so people could be like,
Right.
"See, you're tuning in." I'm like, "Yeah, because y'all say some corny, wacky shit that I like to hear. It doesn't mean I like
do
it."
it for a laugh. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, getting to that too. Also, man, it's like the goals and approaches. The last thing about Aaron Rodgers, which I also think is like so lame, is he was knocking Travis Kelce for getting a Pfizer deal, and promoting the vaccine. But lo and behold, you know who the owner of the Jets is? Woody Johnson, who is of Johnson and Johnson, who makes the other vaccine. So Aaron
Right.
Rodgers literally gets paid by the same vaccine company, or the opposite vaccine company.
vaccine company.
Yeah, and it's like, bro, you take the money, if not more money, from a vaccine company than fucking what's his name did. If anything,
Right.
you're not holding up your bargain. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, so again, goals and approaches, bro. Like, what's the goal? Like, you're trying to tell us something, but then you don't want the repercussions of what you're telling us, man. Luckily, we haven't heard from him in a while, but Kyrie Irving was the same thing. I kind of said, what's his name? Aaron Rodgers is like the white Kyrie Irving. And, like,
Can't
Kyrie,
argue with that.
dude, like, take it back to 2020 when Kyrie played for the Brooklyn Nets, bro. Brooklyn is near and dear to my heart. It's where my family lives. You know what I'm saying? I'm from New York. He was anti-vax, right? And then at the same time talking about, the plight of black people. We can't argue stats, bro. Statistically, the largest leading cause of death for the black community in 2020 was COVID. So telling people to then do the opposite of pursuing their health, which was, he wasn't even just pushing back on anti-vax. He was pushing against quarantine and social distancing and masking, like just the simple shit.
He's at least Aaron Rodgers seems to kind of be looking at his own stuff. Like a lot of that Kyrie stuff, it's like you're not even going to work. It's just you got something with your sister, you got something because of this, you got something because of that, then you're actually injured, probably because you're not training or practicing. Then you're costing your team because you can only play at a maximum half of your games because you're in the one, you literally play in the one city left at that time that had the mandate. Like, you literally play for the absolute worst franchise for your belief system.
Dude,
Like,
just like Aaron Rodgers, he hates the
right,
media, but
right.
goes to
Like,
the number one media market. Like, bro,
well,
fuck you guys.
at least with Rodgers, he was in Green Bay at the time, and let's be real here, Green Bay, Wisconsin's in the middle of nowhere. Like,
Yeah, true.
He's all right there. But I don't know. Like you said, Kyrie's inconsistent, and again, hell of a ball player. Probably one of the arguable best layup packages in the NBA. Like the guy's, Stephen A. says it. He's the kid's box office. But can you trust the guy to be there? And again, for me, a lot of this is, me. I don't like having a lot of conversations with politics and this shit. But for me, it's the sports. I use sports to escape my everyday shit. And it's like, all right, well, now you're dragging all this shit in there. And any entertainment I could get or anything I like about Kyrie Irving, I'm not getting because he ain't playing basketball. I'm like, if you ain't playing basketball, I don't want to hear from you. Like,
Dude, facts, dude. And then they're like, oh, you're just putting athletes in a box. I'm like, bro, if he's not playing a sport, he's not an athlete right now, bro.
and my comments, not the, what was it, the shut up and dribble. Like, that's not what I'm saying.
No.
Like, you can have your viewpoints. You can have the soapboxes that you want to stand on. You could be charitable to whatever you want to. I don't care. Like, I want you to be charitable, or I want you to have kind of a cross to bear per se. But like, that's not why I pay attention to you,
dude.
Like,
And go.
I want to watch you hoop, dude. I don't want to hear about what books you're reading. If you think the world's flat, like I don't. Like,
Yeah.
I want to see you put the ball in the cup. And at that time, the Nets were cool. They had some players. Like,
It's just like, dude, and then it's like, oh, am I just your puppet and all that stuff? It's like, no, dude, but it's like, it's no. If you own a pizza shop, and I walk in and I want a pizza, that's a fair relationship that's been established, right? And then I'm like, hey, yo, Jimmy, can I get some pizza? And he's like, well, real quick, can I tell you about like this book I read? And
let me
like,
tell you about my Savior, Jesus Christ.
Like, no.
Whoa. Where's?
Yeah.
I just wanted a double cheese and pepperoni.
yeah, dude. And then it's like, and that's it. And then it's like,
Right.
that's the relationship. Like, I like basketball. You play basketball. I want to see that part of it. I'm not saying you don't have a right to say these things, but I also know, like, we're not friends. So I don't have to, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't even want to have that conversation with my friends. I'm like, no. Like, I came over here to smoke a blunt, not talk about, like,
bro, I'll be real. Like, I've been out the game dating-wise so long. Shout out to me and my girl, going on 7 years now, or almost 7.
Congrats, bro. That's a
You know what I'm
beautiful
saying?
thing.
And, yeah, and with that, I hear about the homies dating girls and stuff, and I'm like, I don't even got advice for you no more, G. Just don't say nothing stupid. Don't touch her when she don't want it. That's all I know. You know what I'm saying?
Man, I am painfully single. Painfully. I'd like to meet somebody. That's great, but I live in the third largest city in the country, and it is rough out here. And that goes both ways. It's rough out there for women. It's rough out there for men. All that shit. And it's like, I can't tell you just even some of the horror stories that I have personally, let alone my other single friends, of like the conversations you get put into. Like, man, I want to say the name, but just in case she actually has my socials, I met this girl, and halfway, we went to brunch, had a great time. She's like, oh, I want to keep hanging out. I'm like, yeah, cool, that's fine. So we went to this bar called Lottie's. It's pretty popular, divey-ish bar here in Chicago. If you watch Chicago Fire, it's actually the bar that they film in, whatever. I think it's called Molly's in the show. But me and her started, pounding back a little bit. Again, pretty well known. I put him back. But so did this chick. And then she rushed right into the real stuff. And again, I'd never met this woman from Eve. We matched on something, and we went out and kicked it. And in consecutive questions, it was, Do you want kids? How many do you want? Where would you raise them? Do you want to go back to New York, or would you go to Minnesota? I'm from Minnesota, or all this other stuff. I'm like, whoa, like, yeah, I want kids. Like, I understand that part of the question, but like the how many and where I want to raise them, like, I don't know, man. Like, I'm single. Like, I don't need to have this figured out yet.
You should throw her off and been like, yo, I'm gonna take one,
So
right?
then,
Put it over
so
here.
then, so then, like, then it was asking me. It was actually this was right around the George Floyd stuff. So she starts asking my opinion on cops, and I'm like, oh, like I'm not like. I was like, yo, I don't know, like. At that point, and this is coming out of left field, yo. So I'm like, I can't even answer because I don't know which way like. Maybe if I want to pander to get out of the question, like I don't even know how to pander to this.
Yeah.
I was like, ah, man, I think it's a pretty fucked up situation, specifically with that one. But like, I don't think that's what all cops are like. Like, I don't know. And so then we talked about something else, and then she asked me about COVID and vaccines and shit, and I'm like, yo, like, I just want to get to know you from like a surface level. And so like, I finally like I kind of stopped. I'm like, hey, like, I was having fun at brunch, and I was having fun earlier. I'm like, I don't know if you're nervous. I don't know what it is. Like, I'm just trying to have a good time. Like, it's a Saturday afternoon. Like, I just want to have a good time. Like, I work all week. You work all week. It sounded like you had to blow off some steam. Like, let's keep it popping.
Are you wearing a wire?
Right. Like, yo, if I run for public office, I guarantee you this date's coming out. Like, she's got my tweets. She's got me on whatever. It didn't work out because we went out one or two more times after, and I ran into just, you're always trying to ask me the most serious stuff. And I'm like, as important as all that is, if I can't have fun with you, all that important shit doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I want the same amount of kids as you and I would move to Minnesota. I can't have fun with you. I don't want to raise children with you if that's the case. Like,
Yeah, like how did you and mommy meet? We were discussing the Constitution, actually.
Yeah.
She asked me, would I ever break it if I ran for office? Yeah, I mean,
Right,
she's
right.
like, what's your opinion on cops? You're like, I think it's fucked up when they kill people, but I one time saw a cop like save a cat, so it balances
Like,
out.
yo, it's cool. It's cool. Like, oh man.
Yeah, nah, dude, I couldn't do it. That's why, like, my brother would be telling me stories or like the memes about like what girls do or guys do, and I'm like, bro, like you guys are on your own with this one. Like I don't know. I do know I feel like the basics are always solid though, which we went back to the
Right.
beginning was like, don't be a creep, don't say anything weird,
Don't make it weird.
and that's it. That
Can you hear me?
Hello?
Can you hear me? Can you can you hear me? Can you hear me? The fuck?